Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Offhand. Today, we are finally going to be talking about some basketball, but not the All Star game. That's in the past. We look to the future here. The future being the trade deadline, March 25th. It's coming up, and it's coming up fast. There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of talk, and we want in on that talk. We want in on that rumor mill. Me being, of course, or we being, of course, me, Andy, my buddy over there, Hansel, living it up in San Francisco at the moment. He's got some insight for us probably on some Warriors talk if we go into that. But Hansel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Out here just living it up.
Yeah, enjoying the Bay Area?
Yeah, me and Steph just, went out to shoot some threes.
Yeah,
No
right after
biggie.
the All-Star game, right? Right after
Right
the All-Star
after.
game. You probably
I
helped
beat
him
him.
out.
I actually beat him in a 3-point contest.
All right, we'll save that for another video. But we're going to be talking about some trades today, guys. We each have 3 trades. We don't know, though, what those trades are of the other person. We only know our trades. But just to start it off first, I think it's good if we go through the rumor mill a little bit. Some guys that have had a lot of interest, a lot of talk that teams are looking for these people. One of them being Victor Oladipo for the Indiana Pacers, Lauri Markkanen for the Chicago Bulls, Nikola Vucevic for the Orlando Magic, John Collins, the Atlanta Hawks, Andre Drummond for the Cavs, who actually might get bought out, but could still get traded. So could keep a lookout for him. Also Kyle Lowry in Toronto, PJ Tucker for the Rockets, and Kelly Oubre Jr. for the Warriors. Teams that are most likely probably going to be making a move at the trade deadline: Boston Celtics, Charlotte Hornets have actually come out and said they're pretty aggressive, or they're looking to be aggressive at the deadline. The Houston Rockets have had a lot of interest with their players. And then the Miami Heat have also looked to make some moves as well as the deadline. A lot of rumors, especially around their young core. So it should be really, really interesting to see. But let's I want to start. I want to start actually, Hansel. Is that okay?
Go for it.
I start? All right.
Go for it, man.
I want to start with my trade of Victor Oladipo for Kelly Oubre Jr. and Kayvon Looney.
Huh?
Yeah, there's maybe some picks thrown in, but I don't really think there's gonna be any real picks thrown in. Houston may have to use some of their hardened trade exception as well. I don't know if Houston fans would be happy about that, but there's been a lot of talk recently about the Warriors wanting to go after Victor Oladipo.
I'm going to talk to Curry about this.
Yes. Let us know. Let us know what you're hearing on the ground floor over there.
I got you. Ask Draymond too.
Yeah, follow us on social media at the _off_hand. It's gonna be in the description. We'll keep you updated on everything Warriors as well with Hansel guiding us. But
Yeah.
for Oladipo, right? He's had a pretty decent season. Not great, but not bad. His shooting has not been great. But he's gone through a lot recently. He's been dealing with an injury that he was coming over during the bubble, didn't really look like himself in the bubble. And then he got COVID not too long ago. So still trying to just get better from that and work his way back onto a court. So that's definitely affected him. But what I like, though, at least, is that he's taking almost the same exact shot attempts from when he was on the Pacers. And he has a very similar production. The only thing that's really down that I saw was his shooting splits. He's currently shooting about 39% from the field, 31% from three. It's not great, but
It could be worse.
It could be worse. It could definitely be worse. For what he's going through, it could definitely be worse. This is, I see, like, as his floor.
I mean, if you're comparing him and Kelly Oubre, it's not really much off.
No, it's not. And I'll get into Kelly in a minute. But last season on the Pacers, he shot 42% from the field and 36% from three.
Wow.
So if the Warriors can get that guy, which I'm assuming is what they want, obviously, they want a guy that can spread the floor a little bit, do a little bit of playmaking. He's averaged 5 assists per game or almost 5 assists per game on the Rockets, who don't have a lot of weapons. So him having a 1-2 game with Steph could really be nice. And he's shown flashes of being a good player this season. So it's
Don't forget his defense.
And his defense. And that's the thing is, I don't know if they're going to be able to re-sign him. The Rockets weren't able to re-sign him, and they gave him a fat contract. But I think that more has to do with situation. I think he'd rather be in a good situation with the Warriors. But I think
Also, the area is good too for him.
it is. It is. It's a great. Are you saying that because you're in the Bay?
Nah, bro, I would never.
Oh my goodness. But I think really why they're making this move, why the Warriors are making this move and giving up a wing to go for a guard, go for another ball handler, is really just for insurance on Klay Thompson. Because knock on wood, Klay comes back next season, doesn't go through any injuries. But we don't know what type of Klay we're going to get. He'll probably still be a great shooter, but we don't know how good he's going to be defensively. We don't know how quick he's going to be coming off screens. So Oladipo might be that insurance policy that they have for Klay in case Klay doesn't work out. What do you think about Oladipo going there?
Well, I actually like the idea a lot, mainly because I would not mind moving Wiggins to the 3, actually. I think he'd be better the 3 than the 2 that he's been playing recently. And yeah, I mean, since Wiggins isn't as much of a shooter as Oladipo is, I feel like Wiggins would be much more of a slasher, and that'd be very good for them.
Yeah, I think Oladipo can take up more of that offensive load. He's done it before, and he's succeeded very well. So definitely take the eyes off of Wiggins a little bit more, put him at a more natural position of the 3. So I think it'd be really good for him as well.
And Curry could play even more off ball now that they have more playmakers.
For sure. It frees him up. It frees everybody up.
Frees up Draymond because Draymond's been carrying that team on his back.
But let's talk about one of the people he's been carrying. That's part of this trade, Kelly Oubre. Mm-hmm. He's 25. He's actually going to be an unrestricted free agent this upcoming season. So they're essentially just trading rentals pretty much. Mm-hmm. Kelly Oubre, he's had an interesting season to say the least. He had a really rough beginning. He went to Golden State, who has a very complicated offense with no training camp he had. So he was really figuring that thing out on the fly. So he had a terrible shooting splits, but it's gone a little bit better in recent time. And I think that he can carry that over to Houston, where I think he'd actually fit a lot better with John Wall and with Christian Woods. I agree because they'd actually have a wing there. He wouldn't want to dominate the ball, just like how Oladipo kind of did. And you kind of split between who gets the ball between John Wall and Oladipo, bringing up the floor. You don't have to deal with that. Kelly Oubre will just fit into his role. He'll be the third scorer. It'd be very similar, I think, to how it was on the Suns, where he played really well. And an interesting stat with that, I think, actually, is that he's going to a smaller role. He'd be in a smaller role. He'd be in a simpler offense because right now on Golden State, he's actually 3rd in shot attempts per game on the team.
Wow.
Only 1 behind Wiggins. Curry's taking like all the shots, but he's 3rd in attempts per game. So they're looking for him to produce in reality. And he's 2nd in 3-point attempts. So when they're kicking it out, it's going to Kelly Oubre very often.
And it shouldn't be going to Kelly Oubre.
It probably shouldn't go in at that amount. But with John Wall and Christian Woods, I think it'd help him out a lot more. He'd fit really well being in a smaller role. And then Kevon Looney, he's really just there to make the money work.
I mean, not just that. He's also a decent enough center to be a backup center for the Rockets that have 0 backup centers. Exactly. Because they decided to just get rid of DeMarcus Cousins for absolutely no reason. I mean, I like the Kelly Oubre trade too because I like Kelly Oubre playing the 4. That's just something I like about him because he's a really good slasher, great dunker, great rebounder. Actually, could play defense very well. So him playing the 4 to Christian Wood playing the 5 is a good smallish ball, but I mean the Rockets are going there anyways. They're going there anyways with PJ Tucker playing the 4. I mean, honestly, they might as well switch it for Kelly Oubre, who's probably taller.
Yeah, it probably just not even. It wouldn't even be necessarily like Kelly's at the 4. It'd kind of just be like they're forwards. You just kind of have PJ Tucker out there and Kelly out there, and you just have them being the wings essentially.
Yeah, I mean, but it still work out because now you have 3 standing rebounders and defenders there playing the 3, 4, and 5 interchangeably because they all could pretty much shoot and they could pretty much do everything on the court. So I think it's a solid team with John Wall leading it. I have nothing to say other than
I think it's a good trade for both sides. But let me hear your trades.
All right. Well, I have multiple trades, but since we're talking about the Rockets, I might as well just go with the Rockets. Right?
Okay.
So this one involves PJ Tucker. because PJ Tucker, great 5. Now he's in the Hall of Fame of fives for the Houston Rockets. But a team that really needs a 5 or at least a solid 4 is the Toronto Raptors. And I believe that if they were to trade for PJ Tucker, what they'd be giving up is Aaron Baines, another center, at least for them to have a center, because shoot, man, the Rockets, they're struggling with the center position. And then they need a scorer, right? Because Victor Oladipo, he's going to want out, right? He's not going to stay. So in order to pick up a scorer like Victor Oladipo, they could pick up someone like Norman Powell.
Interesting. How much money is Baines making?
Baines is actually making $7 million. But in order to compensate for Baines $7 million and Norman Powell's, my bad, Norman Powell's almost $11 million, they'd be trading away PJ Tucker, Dante Exum, and Brown. And I think it worked. The money works out perfectly.
Okay, tell me that one more time. So who's leaving from the Rockets?
Okay, so the Rockets are trading away Dante Exum, which is doing basically nothing. He's just there for salary, and he's an expiring contract. PJ Tucker and Brown.
Okay, and they're... Oh, okay, so Oladipo is staying.
Oladipo is staying because...
okay, that's why I was getting confused.
They're probably going to trade him away to another team because I don't think the Raptors are going to want him because they have too many guards.
Okay, so that's more of a fleshing out of your bench type of deal. It seems like
and then they're adding more so the Rockets are getting rid of some players, but because they want to add an extra shooting guard to replace Victor Oladipo in the next season as a backup in case they can't sign anyone good. Especially because his shooting splits have been insane for Powell. Powell's been averaging almost 17 points a game just off the bench, playing like a madman.
Norman Powell's been having a great season.
With very limited minutes.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. No, it'd definitely be a great pickup for the Rockets to get. I am curious, like, why do you think PJ Tucker would fit well with the Raptors?
Well, the thing is, PJ Tucker, obviously, great defender, could rebound well, could play the 5, but I don't think they'll play him the 5. I think they'll play him at the 4. Yeah. I think they'll play him at the 4, and then at the 5, they'll play Boucher. And I think they're going to invest all time in Boucher, who's a young, amazing shot blocker, who, in my opinion, plays better than most centers, honestly, in the league.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a small lineup because I think
it'd be a small lineup, but I think they'll make it work fine because they are such a switch heavy on defense that they don't really need someone long for a center position.
That'd be a pretty interesting trade. Do you know what Norman Powell's contract looks like? Does he have another year after this year?
Yes, he has 2 years.
He has
in his contract. Same thing with Baines. They both have 2 years.
So they're probably getting out of Baines' contracts. I know he has been playing too well.
I mean, he might play better with an offense that is led by John Wall. They might make it work. And if they don't make it work, he's still just a backup there, just a body to put in.
That's true. I think it'd be a little tough,
honestly, because they really don't have a body to put in the center.
I don't know. I don't think I mess with that trade. I don't think I mess with that trade. I'll be honest.
You don't like it?
I don't like it just because I don't think the Raptors make a move for PJ Tucker because I don't think they're trying to win right now, but PJ Tucker doesn't put them over in the East. That's kind of my only problem. And I know he's going to be an unrestricted free agent coming up, I'm pretty sure.
He is, yeah. It's an inspiring contract, so it'd really just be like
that's a gamble. If I think he's going to go somewhere that's probably, like if someone trades for him, I think it's going to be a team that is really trying to make a push for the finals. A team that thinks PJ Tucker would probably push him over the edge. Someone like maybe the Milwaukee Bucks, I think would be interesting.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Maybe I think there's been some chatter about one of the LA teams going after him.
The LA teams go after literally everyone in the league. But
yeah, no, for real. But it's more feasible though because I think I don't have it in front of me. I'm pretty sure PJ Tucker is making about $7 million a year, so it's definitely possible for them to make a trade for PJ. So that's why I could see it happening with more of those squads in the Raptors. I'm gonna do my next one. I'm gonna do my next trade. So since we're both Heat fans, I think we're gonna like this one.
Ooh.
So John Collins or Avery Bradley and either Kendrick Nunn or Duncan Robinson.
Just send Kendrick Nunn. Don't even send Duncan Robinson. Just send Nunn. I don't want Nunn.
Well, I don't know which the Hawks would rather have. The Atlanta Hawks would rather have. And I don't know if
they probably want Nunn.
I feel like Nunn makes more sense.
Nunn makes more sense because of Rondo. They want to get rid of Rondo.
Yeah, but I don't think I think they're probably gonna keep Rondo though. I think
they're probably gonna keep Rondo, but I mean I'm saying that like they're probably gonna play that Rondo less minutes and put Nunn there as a backup.
Yeah, no, for sure. What Nunn brings to the table, and this is why I think they'll probably go for him more than Duncan Robinson, is he actually gives them a backup point guard on the floor that can go and get his own bucket. Because Chris Dunn can't, and I think he's hardly even been on the floor. Rondo can't, at least not in the regular season. Only playoff Rondo gets buckets. So Kendrick Nunn gives them offense when Trae Young is off the court, which is when they suffer the most on offense. And he's had a great season in reality. He's played 30 minutes on average. Yeah, I don't think he's played all the games if I remember correctly, but he's averaged about 14 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, almost 3 assists, and a steal. Even though he has not great on defense, he is all right at points. He's shown improvement, I think. But he's a good.
He doesn't have a big role in the Heat offense. That's the biggest reason why he doesn't. He's going to average way more probably in the Hawks if they give him better minutes in the bench. But with us, we barely give him minutes in the bench.
Yeah, and he does really well because the times where he does get a lot of minutes is usually because we have guys go down. He have players go down, so they end up needing to give Kendrick Nunn a lot of minutes, and he ends up putting up a lot of points.
Yeah, he explodes. He explodes on offense when that happens.
So that'd be awesome if the Hawks.
I'd love to see it.
Him. It'd be really good because he's also like, you can talk about defense. Like he's not great on defense.
He's not that bad though. I mean, he's way better than Trae Young.
That's the thing is like, even if you want to say he's worse than Trae Young, it's like he's basically just, in reality, I feel like you could consider him like a discount Trae Young.
Well, I mean, I don't know about the assist levels, but I mean, definitely
not. But that's why I say like a discount version of him.
Definitely in the offense and the way he could produce, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's why I think it'd be a good fit for him. And then you probably only throw one of them in, either Nunn or Robinson. I'm not gonna make the case for Robinson. He's a great shooter, and that's pretty much what they would give him. You'd have to play him opposite of Trae Young on the ball, probably. You have Trae Young isoing on one side, and then you have Robinson coming off of like 2 screens on the other to get buckets, even though his shooting's gone down this season, even though he's shooting the exact same attempts. So it's actually really funny. His shooting has gone down a lot, but that's just probably because teams have figured him out a little bit.
Yeah, he's getting like double teamed on like shots. It's crazy. Yeah.
So maybe if you have Trae Young out there who demands attention and you don't want to leave Trae Young open one-on-one or being covered one-on-one, that helps Duncan Robinson a little bit.
Oh, it definitely would.
So then I also have Avery Bradley thrown in there. Avery Bradley is needed for the money to work in this, but I think he gives them a true 3-and-D veteran player that kind of talk up DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, and those wings over there.
He's also a hustler.
He's a hustler. He's been out for a while with the right calf strain, but he should be coming back soon, reports say. And just a true 3-and-D guy. Hasn't gotten a lot of minutes from the Heat, hasn't put up a lot of points, but shooting-wise, he's taking about 4 attempts per game. Not a lot, but 42.1% from 3, 47% from the field. So he's knocking it down when he gets it. And that's all you can really ask for him in an offense, especially one like the Hawks where guys don't get a lot of shots. But if you can at least knock them down, you're being a huge help.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's a good defender. Like I said, he can guard the 1, the 2, or the 3 even. He could probably guard a few small forwards depending on their size. I think he did a load of that for LA this past last season when he was over there. But then John Collins, what does he bring to the Heat? He's had a poor season. He's actually had a really poor season in comparison to his previous years, but I think that's just due to that type of offense they're running over there. He doesn't like it. He's gotten to shouting matches with Trae Young. He's very passionate. And I think that would all actually help him on the Heat, where they play a very selfish brand of basketball. It's very team basketball. They feed into the hot hand. So if John Collins is going off, they'll keep riding John Collins. They'll keep feeding John Collins. And I think he's okay with that. And I think he'll really enjoy being in that atmosphere, and he would bring an actual stretch four that can defend and can rebound for the Heat.
No, I love him. And then also
such a perfect fit.
No, and he like the best part is he can run the pick and roll beautifully. And we have multiple people on our team that could run a pick and roll. So he'd literally be getting fed the ball nonstop.
And that's what he wants. He can spread the floor. This past season, he's shooting 38.8% from three. I think this is he's only played 4 seasons, given small sample size when I say this, but this is like his second worst shooting season, I believe. Last season, he was actually shooting 40.1% from three. So homie can shoot.
No, homie can shoot well.
So
like that is wild.
I really hope the Heat go after him. Is this something that does happen? Probably not. John Collins probably does get moved, I think. But does he get moved to the Heat? I don't know, but I would love to see it. I think Heat fans everywhere would love to see it.
No, everyone would love to see it. And then he'd love to see it too because he wanted to get fed the ball more. He literally had problems with Trae Young because of it.
Exactly.
Because Trae Young just kept shooting dumb shots and just drawing fouls. That's all he's been doing.
Yes, and that's so why he would enjoy playing for the Heat, I think.
He'd also enjoy winning, something that he probably never experienced.
Well, the Heat are now winning.
Oh no! Oh yeah, now. But I mean, okay, if we have John Collins, we're gonna do a lot better. I promise.
No, for sure. All right, hit me with your next trade.
All right, my next trade also involves the Heat. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as a Heat fan, you gotta love it.
It makes sense.
All right, this is literally the generic Heat fan trade, but okay. So we're gonna trade for my boy Vucevic.
Oh, right? Okay.
Yeah, and what we're gonna give up is Kelly Olynyk, gotta love him, Myers Leonard, Mo Harkless, and then Duncan Robinson, and then probably throw in like a pick.
Dude, that's a lot of bodies you're throwing into that trade.
Yeah, and you have to, and we're probably gonna just either take up like a bunch of players that have like expiring contracts, or I don't know. But probably that's probably the only way. I mean, it works. The trade works perfectly, just like that. There was no issues with it.
Okay, I want you to convince me. Yeah, I want you to convince me as the Magic GM on why
the Magic GM
lose Vucevic for that. Are there picks involved? I'm assuming there's picks involved.
Yes, there's picks involved, and then Duncan Robinson could be interchanged with Nunn, which I think they'd probably trade for Nunn actually over Duncan Robinson. Okay. But I think Duncan Robinson technically is more valuable as a player.
I think they'd probably go for Robinson more because they have Fultz and they have Cole Anthony, so they have some guards that they're trying to develop.
Yeah, but they have 2 good shooting guards too in Terrence Ross and Evan Fournier. So that's why it's like maybe. I don't know. But whichever one, it's interchangeable. Whichever one they need more. If they really don't feel like Markelle Fultz is going to come back strong after his injury, Kendrick Nunn will be a good investment. Mm-hmm. He's definitely like worth more than a pick lower than like the 14th pick because Kendrick Nunn is a safe bet while everyone else it could be a bust. But
that's fair.
I mean, we're still going to throw in picks regardless. We'd probably throw in a few picks that we're going to throw in the Harden trade back then, which didn't work out because they were asking for way too much. But for Vucevic, they wouldn't ask for as much because the Magic are probably just going to give up again this season. They're probably just going to give up. They're probably just going to go rebuild again. They need to rebuild, honestly. Yeah, and just invest in their really young players.
It's a real tough situation for the Magic because it's funny because I listen to podcasts and stuff. I listen to the news here and there about all this, and it sounds like the Magic do kind of want to keep Vucevic, and they have a bad team. They've lost a lot of games, yet they have a lot of suitors for their players. So that kind of makes you ask some questions about what's going on over there in Orlando. Where you have
I think it's a problem with Orlando.
Yeah, I don't. It's really weird. It's really funny though, to say the least. Tell me why Vucevic works on the Heat.
Oh, Vucevic works on the Heat beautifully, like beautifully.
How does him and Bam work?
Oh well, it's simple. Instead, we put Bam at the 4, but even if Bam wants to play the 5. That's okay too. Vucevic could probably play the 4. I see no issue in it. He's a little slow, but for the most part, he can stretch the floor quite well.
That's why I'd probably leave Vuce at the 5.
I'd probably leave at the 5
Bam at the 4.
Yeah, and then just move Bam to the 5 when you want to sit Vuce at the bench. Because Bam could probably play a good amount of minutes, really, because he's young. But if you've seen Vucevic's stats, they're insane. The man's been averaging almost 25 points a game. Like, he's not that good on defense, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
He's only okay on defense, but that's okay because the Heat team has such a good like all around defense that they'd make up for it. His rebounding is outstanding though, something we definitely need because as much as I love Bam rebounding, it's sometimes a struggle. It's sometimes a struggle. But what's great about Vucevic, honestly, is not just like his rebounding, but it's just the way he can shoot threes. The man shoots at a 41% clip in the 3-point line.
Bro, there's a reason he was an all-star.
No, and then also he averages almost 4 assists. So he's a good passer too.
No, he's a great player. I love Vucevic. He's definitely probably one of the more underrated guys in the league, I think. Very underappreciated, very under the radar, but he produces really well, and he's arguably been the face of the Orlando Magic for the last few years that he's
for sure.
Well, that's our trades. That's all of our trades. Let us know what your trades are. Let us know what you think is going to happen at the trade deadline in the comments below. Again, third time this video, somehow we got it, but follow us.
Let's do it
on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to put the @ in the description. And if you like this type of content, like and subscribe. We got weekly videos on the offhand here. So definitely check us out and come back. Thank you for watching this video, Hansel. Thank you for your takes, for your trades. Appreciate you being here.
Of course. And tell them to read my takes on Instagram too. For real. I post every once in a while.
Check it out. We got some good stuff on there too, man. We do. But yeah, hope you all have a good day. Bye.
Bye.